Kia ora, Kei Marie. E mihi a te kia koe, ngā whānau e hara mai nei, te karanga o ngā kaupapa o tēnei rā, ngā mihi nui, ngā mihi aroha. Ai tuake au ki te tautoko ngā koro o ngā whae, koro mai ki mua ke au. E tino tika te kororo o ngā mana mutu hake o ngā whānau whānui. E tuake ki te kororo i tēnei rā e ngā whakaro, o ngā kaupapa Māori, ngā tikanga Māori, i ngā mahinga mahi o ngā whānau whānui ngō te Taitokerau. Kia ora whānau. You know, there was no choice about me being here today because I think for all of us in our communities, there's huge need. I come from a freezing work town, Moeroa. Now, there was a time when we downsized in our community and a lot of our people were made unemployed. You know, and I came up to the fact, I thought about this because, you know, everybody was looking at employment or work was always about somebody else's dream and we were just the people in it. I've challenged in the sense of the moi moia of our region. Everybody's talking about economic development, you know, the kaupapa, but I don't necessarily see where we fit in that dream unless we make it happen. You know, and for us in Moeroa, we've learned the lesson. If we leave it to other people to decide our future, we're going to be left out. And even how we look at economics. You know, I'm a guy that's dyslexic. Came from out of a college with no qualifications. I struggled at school. And I had questions in my mind, even as a young fella. You know, actually, if you talk to Māoris about business when I was a kid, actually, the kororo was, no, you can't be a businessman and be a Māori. The two don't work, because they were saying that what happened to us is that, you'll have your business and you'll give it all your profits away to your whānau. You know, and so I thought, well, actually, I don't want to be working for somebody else. Actually, I think we're born not just to be freezing workers. That's not the world I wanted to be a part of, and it wasn't the world that I wanted my mokopuna children to come up into. So there's the talk and there's the walk of what does that actually look like. Because I remember coming into the trust, we were a trading provider. That's what everybody was doing. Actually, the big business in Moeroa were training providers. But training for what? Actually, I remember, guys, we used to call it, I used to say we were creating course junkies. They'd go from course to course, but where was the jobs? Oh, yeah, they were there, cleaning hotels. And I've got nothing against that. But we were already the people for the industries that were already there. I didn't see models when I grew up of Māori business. Oh, I did a few, but they were few and far between. If you went to the freezing works, who were the bosses? They were all white. You went to the professional people, they're mostly all white. I, as a young fella, I'm thinking, what's wrong? There's something wrong with this picture. Because our aspirations of all we could see was limited, we would be limited. So when we came home, I knew I wanted us to create the opportunity. We were masters of our own destiny. We wanted to do things that we were born to do. Not what others wanted us to do for them to make profit. And if we look at the Western model, come on people, if we look at the Western model of economics, our planet is being destroyed. First time I think, and I heard this guy, he's a pretty smart guy, kind of a philosopher, guy called Noam Chomsky. Brilliant man around being able to see what is happening in the world. And he said, we need to be looking at the indigenous people of this planet because they will create opportunities that lives in harmony with the planet. There's this new thing called donut economics. I'm sick and tired of going to conferences talking about social enterprise. Like, again, Europeans are the first one to discover how to work cumulatively in business. See, we're always being missed. We're always being missed because somebody else's narrative is telling the story. So I want to come back to a tangible. Gee, that fellow talks a lot and he said a lot of stuff. So let's come back to a tangible because I can. because you're going to get this afternoon Business Economics Moeroa 101. Woo! Yeah. Let's take the space. You know, a previous speaker talking about creativity. You know what? You cannot be creative unless you put yourself and be real vulnerable. Because to step out and do something that's not there, that takes courage. That takes courage. And for a lot of our people who have been beaten down, said that you're not good enough, we've been a second race class of people. Now, we may say that's not what we are, but actually some of the narrative around us, some of the things we've been brought up in, has said that to us subliminally. So we decided in Moeroa that we're going to do our thing. We're going to do community development. We didn't know what that was, but it had to do with us doing something. So we just got on with it. We saw the needs in our community. I'm going to cut down to one of the examples, which was, you fellas all know this, Healthy Homes Taitokerau. That business is over 20 years going and still going strong. It has brought over $20 million into the region. Now, it's not, if you see me and look, I must be a rich fella. Well, you know. We have over 26 staff servicing their business. One of our kōtiro, our woman, she was a top installer in the country, got the, not Prime Minister, the Governor General Award. Because we do things well. We, just like our previous speaker, what is our passion? What is our gift? What are our skills? Instead of saying, what job do I need to go to? We need to turn that around and say, well, what else our moimoia? One of the things I thought about that whole kaupapa, it's actually very Māori in its kaupapa. Even though we've got a whole range of different players in that kaupapa, from health providers, from businesses in the sense of Top Energy, Power North, North Power, and a lot of other players that have come into that. You know, when we sat down, at the time, when we were dealing with a government agency, and they came to our community to talk about this, they actually went to a lot of other players to say, hey, you want to do this insulation business. This is going back in 1999, around that time. And they went to some of these places and said, look, why don't you do this, you know? And people sat down and looked at the economics of it and said, oh, well, actually, yeah, okay, you'll warm up, you'll put insulation into houses, but where's the profit for us? Actually, there was very minimal profit in the project. And that's why most people didn't take it up. They came to our organization and we went, warmer homes for our whānau, employment, and it covers its costs. We're in. 20 years later, that business is still going and going strong. And from that, we've been able to make profit. Now, this is a community enterprise. It doesn't go into my pocket, because you'll see my car parked out there. You know? But it goes back in to seed aspirations that we have for new business in the green economy. And why I say the green economy, because anything that I think we should be doing going forward should tick certain boxes. First of all, it's not to be harmful to the planet. Because that's our papa tuanuku. That's our role as kaitiaki, as being Māori, to take care of that. It gives opportunity for our people to shine. My mate, I remember years ago, and keep an eye on me because I could talk too much, mate. My horangatira, they asked, so what do you fellas do down at that trust over there? What's your core business? And she said this. It was very simple, but I thought it was right on the money. She said, we create places for our people to shine. So with these enterprises, we're taking the gifts, the talents of our people, matching that with making sure whatever we do that is good for the planet and helpful for whānaus, and we bring those things together to be able to create support, whether it's building a tank. We're going into water shortages. It's starting to happen. Back in Moeroa, we used to all have tanks, you know. We used to catch the water. They came for nothing, you know. In the time, these are about innovations that meet the need in our community. We got to have eyes to see what we have. All the time we talk about in the language of deficit, about what we don't have. We got to see what Atua has given us in our own papa whenua. You know, and I'm not going to takahi forestry, but we're learning things from the forestry side of things. You know, our people, when they did the big forestry in Ngāti Hine, they wanted employment, they wanted opportunities for their mokopuna. It didn't work exactly like that. But you know what? If we had just left the whenua, we would have had tea tree, we would have had honey and manuka honey. So it's about us not making mistakes, because actually for innovation to happen, for growth to happen, you have to make your mistakes. The man who never made a mistake never made nothing. And look, there were times, you know what a mistake is? Like just before Christmas, we got it wrong. And having to set 12 people, 12 whānaus just before Christmas, we had to say, we got no more work for next year. You know, I wanted to get on an airplane, shoot over to Australia, because I was feeling so bad. We got this wrong. My horangatira, very wise woman she is, she said, we need to take the learning. We need to understand what happened here. And we sat there within 18 months. The learning was, how did we bring ourselves out of debt? How we did it. How did we have to negotiate with other partners to be able to get work so that we could make that stuff? And then within 18 months, we were back in the black. But that wasn't so much being back in the black. It was the intelligence, the learning, the understanding of what we had to do. So when the next businesses come along, we were able to do better, and we have. I didn't put my hand to go up to business school. I told you I was dyslexic. But when we live in a community like mine, and many of your communities, there are many needs. Can I say this? There are opportunities. And the last thing I want to say about this way of doing economics, let us not be fearful. That's one of the biggest things that has come to me. It was not to be fearful. Oh, because you don't know. Oh, you're a dumb man, you couldn't spell or read. Oh, you're not good enough. Oh, you're not smart enough. Or you don't have this tohu. Now, I've got nothing against tohus or stuff like that. Nothing against that at all. People learn differently. I'm very much a kinesthetic learner, hands-on. And I value anybody's learning process. But in the end, we learn for what? Mighty well do. It's not for me so that I can have all this money, live in a mansion. You know, over in Moroa, if I lived in a mansion, they'd be thinking what business I'm into. No, my skill, and this is that business makes all the money. I do not get paid from that business at all, but I use my waha in its role to help grow that business. See, that's a different thinking from the Western world, is that actually I do this so that I can earn. Sometimes the earning for me is that people are employed, that whānau homes are getting insulated, and we're stopping all the diseases that are affecting our young people. That's the win. That's the win. Yeah, I do get paid. I do have a day job even. So that's my kororo whānau. And I came here this afternoon because I wanted to say we got to do this differently. Not talk about it, but do it. What is the difference between Western economics and what we do as Māori economics? There's a difference. The value base that drives us, he tangata, he tangata, he tangata. We still got to make those outcomes. We still got to have accountability. But the way and the value and the way we do what we do, he Māori, he whānau. So whānau, that's me wound up, and I'm going to hand over to this. See, this is going to be a tangible thing. One of the things we do, we have these shops that have been incubators, that we allow that place for whānau in our community to start their businesses, and we tautoko. So I'm going to hand over to a lovely lady from Moroa, and she's going to give us one of those other tangible areas. Kia ora tātou.
Oh, kia ora koutou. Excuse me, I've gotten rid of my notes. So, first of all, I hate public speaking, but I did it because Kay Marie asked me to. But I'm here to talk about the Hati's Cafe. So I'm one of 7 sisters that own and operate the Hati's Cafe in Moerewa. Our building is owned by Hiwi ko Tahi Tātou Trust. And so we did things a little bit back to front. So my whakapapa is 150% Ngāti Hine. So just short, nice and short, 150% Ngāti Hine. And one of my sisters got the opportunity to take over the cafe in Moerewa from a friend of ours. And she came to us and she said, oh, look, I think I might run the cafe. And we all went, what are you doing? What are you doing? But then, I guess in terms of saying things that we've done it backwards, we opened up a cafe and now we're learning about economics. Because we opened up a cafe not to make money, unfortunately, which is the wrong business model, but it was our business model. We decided that we love Moerewa, we're born, bred and raised in Moerewa, and we're raising our children in Moerewa, and we're very proudly and unapologetically Ngāti Hine, and we thought, hang on, yeah, this is a way we can give back. So myself and my 7 sisters, oh no, I've only got 6 sisters, 7 of us. We work in different places. I work in the tertiary education sector for Ngāti Hine. I have a sister who works at the Ngāti Hine Health Trust, the sister that runs the cafe, another sister that works in the cafe, a sister who is a stay-at-home mum, and who have I missed? So yeah, very, very diverse. Our family is very diverse, and we have over 30 children, and we have over 13 mokos now. And it was our way to show our kids, if you have an idea, go for it. If you think it can work, go for it. Even if you think it's going to fail, go for it. Give it a go. And if you're going to give something a go, give it a go where you know you're comfortable, which is what the Hati's Cafe for us is. It's our comfort. It's our hometown. We designed it for our community, and it's just so happened that our success has been built, widely in our region. But the biggest success is that we have our own community, all walks of life from our community, because we're a very diverse community, come into the cafe and enjoy the cafe. And so that's our success, not the money, but thank goodness it makes enough money to stay open. Because, that is the bottom line. We want to keep the cafe open. But really it is that. That's our biggest success. And I guess the reason why I agreed to come here and talk about it was to encourage Whānau to do that. I mean, these big I tried to put together a PowerPoint, but I didn't get time. And I could have talked with big words and economy, and we're still learning as we're going. But really, if you have an idea, go for it. Even if it's not, people are saying you're going to fail. I'm sure there were a lot that said that, but there was more support for us than we thought there would be, and there continues to be more support for us. And it's one way we can support our whānau, it's one way we can support our community and our hapu and our wider whānau. And yeah, we're added to the economics of Moerewa, which we're really, really happy to do. And it pays homage to our whakapapa, what we've learnt growing up. And I truly believe that the best education comes from home. And I'm a testament to that. The Hati's Cafe is a testament to that. It pays homage to our parents, our grandparents. They're displayed in the cafe. And yeah, I think you can go away and you can study. I've been away and done that. But the things I hold dearest to my heart are the things I learnt at home. And that's what the cafe is. We're not a 5-star restaurant, but we're getting there, and I think that's what it is. You can learn as you go. It's fine. You don't have to have all the answers, because we certainly had about 2 answers. One was that we wanted a business in Moerewa, and 2, we wanted to support the sister that wanted to run the cafe in Moerewa, and those were our 2 answers. We've built a lot since then. We opened five days before lockdown, which also wasn't easy. So things like that as well, but with the community support and with our whānau support, we've survived it. We've thrived, actually. We've come back even better after COVID. We continue to learn, we continue to serve. And so, yeah, that's our success story. And we make enough money to stay open. Kia ora koutou.
I just had to say one last thing in conjunction with Susie. You know, we used to run, because we wanted businesses in our community, so we used to bring in these business mentors, run those business courses, and the kororo they used to have was location, location, location. So they would bring them in to run businesses in Moeroa, and they would tell our people, don't set up business in Moeroa. See, that's a different economic framework thinking. Yes, it's been hard to run businesses in Moeroa, but we've had one for 20 years and still going. We've got another one going, an enterprise going, that's still going. That's been going for 4 years. That's partly come through for government contracts, but the other part of it is actually its own private business. So, you know, don't let nobody push you and say you can't do it.